So let's go with the guest of the day. So it's a good influence for me. I'm super happy to having him on board today. So quick introduction. He played with a lot of band, Primus, Laundry, A Perfect Circle, Blue Man Group. He also do the Postfire like project with the Maynard James Cannons. It's a amazing drummer. He's a teacher. So let's go chat with him. Tim Alexander, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good, good, good.
Yeah. Where are you
Yeah,
based?
yeah.
Where are you
I'm
right now?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay, great. Are you from there? Are you born in this area?
No, I was born on the East Coast, and every 5 years or so, it seemed like I ended up moving, and then ended up here, and um, I really, really love it here. I've been in Washington for the last 12 years,
Okay.
but we ended up moving back um, just about 9 months ago. So yeah, so I'm
You were in
back in the
Washington.
and yeah, so that's where I'm at.
A new start. Well, a new start. Yeah, like actually, you're starting to like you have like a drum school. You're starting to, and
Well, yes, it is an online a few things. I'm doing I just did a master class, and I'm doing another one on January 27th, where it's an hour together online with drummers, and they can, or anybody who wants to be there, and you can be at your kit or practice pads or anything. And I just kind of go over what I feel is important to know, with what I've learned and what I've played and done. And so I kind of go through all those things
mhm.
with people, answer questions, do some demonstrations, and then I also have a thing I'm going to start in February. It's a 4 week um, kind of class. Like we'll
Okay.
get together for like an hour, maybe a little more each week,
Okay.
and we will. I'll work on what people want to know, but I'll also have my own concepts that we should, discuss and work on, and that will be a lot more in depth, in terms of talking about theories and approaches.
Yep.
I'm really into the mental aspect of drumming, not just about playing beats, but
No, no, no.
about why, kind of what are you trying to say when you're playing, an instrument, and us being drums as our instrument, like how does that come across? What do you think you're trying to say to people who are listening? What is that expression? And so just try to dive into that to hopefully get a better glimpse at what's going on in our minds when we're trying to perform rhythmically, and especially for people who are coming up, they're watching drummers, and they're seeing and they're hearing, but and they're feeling something, but I don't know if they can connect it all. So I
I
kind
got
of
it.
want to dive into that stuff of connecting the dots, between um, playing something, and how you can work a song, how you can work a part that you've composed, how you can build it and deconstruct it to make it more effective,
Yep.
all
Yep.
kinds of things like that. So I'm starting that mid February for 4 weeks, and And then I also am uploading, videos for a this it's called
Yeah,
stickacademy.com
stick again.
and
Mhm.
Stick Academy, yeah. And there you can get access to all these things, but it's that'll be like a monthly kind of membership thing where people can just whenever they feel like, dive into a video and I'll upload stuff as time goes on, and
That's
just keep
great.
it
That's
going. Yeah, yeah,
You play for the sound, you play for the music, not just play for yourself. Like you play with the band, you have a relation with the song, and it's very
yeah.
important actually. I remember I seen you in a drum clinic long time ago in Montreal, Drum Fest in '96, I think, or
Oh,
'97,
yeah, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
With
Long
laundry,
time ago. And yeah, yes, yeah, with laundry. And I remember you say something very interesting. I remember that because I use it. You said like
right?
when you play like, yeah, single stroke or double stroke, you can do simple variation like let's say a 16 notes, and just add an accent somewhere like just there. You just created a new song or a new approach for the same kind of rhythm, and
Right.
without putting crazy things around you, you're able to make variation and connecting with the groove. And I remember I tried that a lot, and it's very efficient. It's so simple, but it's just an accent in
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I am really promoting and trying to show people and tell people is about just getting a grip on those 16th notes and learning to accent, each one of them. And there's some exercises we can run through and just to help you get that. Because if you get that down, you'll pretty much know how to place, a beat or an accent in any of those spots. And
totally.
it's got to be in the head. You've got to have it here first. So
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
the
So
stuff,
well,
the
good. I'm
stuff
glad
doesn't
you
mean.
glad you remember that.
Yeah, no. I have. For me, it was like when I was a kid, I was always going to the drum fest. It was like a event for the drummer once a year, and you're so loaded of things you've seen, like 2 3 days of drummers nonstop. Sometimes it's hard to
Right.
remember all. I remember I've seen Vinny Colaiuta playing his
Oh,
life for 1 hour, one drum solo forever. I finished, I was like dead. I mean, I remember it was amazing playing. The point is like was so much stuff going on for a guy of 17 years old. I was
oh yeah.
like, I didn't have the vocabulary to understand all that at that age. I had, but not enough. So it would be probably different now. But I remember it was a great thing to seen an event like that. Now you have internet; it's completely different story.
Yeah.
But back in the days was something.
No,
Um,
it's a lot. Vinny is like a whole nother level, even for me. You know, it, there's so much stick control happening, that
by a lot.
yeah, it's a different approach entirely,
Nice.
and
Is
that's what's
everywhere.
cool. That's what's cool
Yeah.
about drums is, we can be playing here or we can be playing here, and you can make it sound entirely different, and
Mhm.
you can still get a lot have a lot of that same feeling come across even with different approaches, all the motion or less motion. um it's really interesting how you can have one instrument and it can do many different things, so
Uh, it's crazy. Like
yeah.
one fact, when I was my first time I really listened to what you were doing. It was on the album "Selling the Seas of Cheese." Like I heard things before, but really when I really dig in, like okay, I want to hear more. And I remember like I really like the bass drum approach you have on this album and the hi hat too, because you were let's put that way. Like I grew up in a family. They like when I was a kid, like I like Gentle Giant and like progressive stuff, or a completely different story like Beatles. So when it's prog was too prog, like orchestral stuff. But now you bring with Primus, your playing was kind of cool because you could bring something a bit more like technical, but in kind of a pop approach, but it's
Right.
still rock. So I was kind of okay, what's going on here? And I really like the bass drum. You were talking about listening where you are, and I remember you were doing like instead to do like just like double bass drum like Slayer approach. You were like like really well places at that place you wanted. How you became with those ideas? It was not so trendy at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it are my influences. So Neil Peart, I
Peart,
always say Pert,
Peart, yep,
Neil Peart,
Peart.
um, being probably my biggest idol, and right close second would be John Bonham.
Okay,
So I'm kind of a mix, those guys, and then Stuart Copeland came along for me later. Um, and then I discovered world music
oh yeah,
from, and that's in the 80s. And that's when Peter Gabriel really started his Real World label and started exposing, bringing to the front a lot of world music.
yep,
And all those different kind of feels. So those things had a big influence on me, the world music scene. And in fact, my first band was a band where we did like folk music, reggae, ska, world beat, just a huge mix.
hmm,
So I did a lot of tom rhythms,
yep,
and still kept a groove while mixing like those elements from all over the world, like different. And when you listen to drums from all over the world, they're not kick drum and snare drum, they're rhythms.
no,
And
yep.
that I really love that stuff. I really love the
There,
rhythmic part rather than
hmm,
just a beat of a boom ka, and
totally.
because and that's what kind of helped me see that there's so many ways that you can create a feel and create a rhythm. It's not
Yep,
just about a beat. And here in the US, in pop music, rock music, everything's based around that kick and snare. And that automatically makes me want to avoid it just because it's so
yeah,
prominent. But in in our kind of music, a lot of times it's just kind of what really works,
mhm, I agree.
especially in like a progressive type of feel, like a Rush vibe, where that's what we're used to hearing as kids, was that sound of Rush, where bass guitar, drums, and everything was based around kick snare and time changes. And
Yep, yep,
that was a big influence. So um I think my approach comes from that, mixed with the world beat.
hmm,
And also in the 80s was the start of drum machines.
oh yeah,
In Drum machines started becoming prominent. And a lot of times I would approach a song, like let's say on Seas of Cheese, like Jerry was a race car driver.
yep,
So
yep.
the
It's a good one.
idea for me was my hands just being steady, keeping a one, cat, 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 kind of
Yeah.
like a machine. Like the hands don't change. So then that's when I started adding, making the bass drums have a little bit of freedom there, where I play a part like a quick just sputter, like a boom boom boom, a 1 2 3, or a one
Yep.
two, or a 1 2 3, or a quick, and just to kind of switch roles, where usually it would be the bass drum being steady and the hands would have freedom.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was always trying to think a little bit outside of the norm, on how to still give it a good feel and make it listenable, but yet make it interesting, especially for me, make it interesting on what I'm doing. And just my mind just automatically goes there, just
Mhm.
grabbing all the different things from my past, and then it comes together like on a song like that where it's kind of groovy. And then when the big chorus happens, I bring in kind of a Neil Peart where he would ride on the China, or he would do the
Yeah.
China. So that's where I
Yeah.
got my China symbol from Neil, because he
Okay.
had that he had a Wuhan, and they sounded so amazing. He used it kind of like an accent, or he would just sparingly. So
Mhm.
I would bring it in, and that symbol's kind of like my distortion pedal. When we're
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
really, I want to make just a noise. That's what I go to that China.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's kind of like on that record. I would approach the drums from that aspect. Anytime I create something, I've got my whole past just floating around of influences and what I like. And um and on our Desaturated 7 album that we did, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's
Yep.
really interesting, and it's more of like a soundtrack, and that has a lot of rhythms, tom rhythms and
Yep.
mallets. Like I was using mallets. So I bringing that aspect in from like world music, of more
It's
playing rhythms rather than beats.
it's
So,
good. It's good to go out of the box a bit and work with whatever person from whatever other countries. Like I work with Senegal people for a long time, and
oh wow,
my first time in studio, they don't go with click like us. We have a band leader, and it was okay, guys. We need to go on whatever the second bar on the three, and they couldn't. So we have to figure that out how to work out without that. Finally it happens, but for them, like you say, it's not a just beat, even it's phrases. They have like pattern, it goes from one spot until the other spot. But for us, if we count, like it was going to be maybe 19, but for them it worked perfectly. And I remember I learned a lot from them, just like a makuru, like a tu 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 tada, tu 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 pa, tu 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 para, tu. I introduced that. Now I play that kind of groove in the show here because we have to make a tribal like effect in the crowd. I want to have learned that by myself here. Like, so it's just to mix that, you can use that at your own and modifying in the tom. And it's something I like about your drumming. Like, your setup is nice because you have like octobang, or like gong bass drum. So you
right.
can go very high pitch to a very low pitch, or very open drum to very tight tom. So it give you the
Right.
freedom to play around. But do you have are you the kind of guy you're consistent all the time having the same setup, or you kind of have a two three variation depending of your project, how you approach your kit for bringing those rhythm, for example, alive?
Yeah, I prefer to I prefer well, it does kind of stay the same. I do change it up sometimes. And what I've done, I tend to always have 3 toms across the front,
Okay.
because it's there's one here and there's one there for both hands. It's easy for both hands. And then I have
Yep.
one on the right hand. So, I have a 1, 2, 3. It seems like a nice spot.
Yep.
And then the floor tom here on my right side. But I also, I brought in the floor tom on the left side next to the hi-hat. That opened up a whole bunch of stuff.
For
And
sure.
on the Desaturated 7 album, I've used that. Our last EP that we did, I use that. I kind of use it a lot now because it frees up the left hand to do more than just a hi-hat or a snare.
Yep,
I
you
have
can open.
a low sound over here on the left, and then it opens up the right hand,
Yep.
can move around while this left hand can still be playing like a low tom sound, you know?
Hmm.
So, and that's one of the reasons I used to have um, a remote hi-hat. I used to have one over on my right side underneath my ride cymbal. So I could have a functioning hi-hat over here, and it freed up my left hand to move
Oh yeah.
around the kit while I could still keep time.
Yep.
And that, that's the one thing about it. Like on the desaturated 7, I moved my octobans to the front.
Okay.
I was having a lot of back problems, and I didn't like having to twist a
It's
lot.
hard.
So I started moving all my drums to the front, and then I started placing an octoban right above each tom. So I could fit 3 octobans right here,
On the top.
or a fourth,
Mm.
actually. I could have a fourth one too, right up above the hi-hat on my left hand. So that kept the whole kit kind of like right in front. I'm all about like being efficient and having
Yep.
everything nice, and so that you're not straining your body. You don't have to work into weird positions and stuff. So,
Yep. I agree with that.
um, so that's really the major change, was adding a left tom and then moving the octobans to the front. Currently, right now, I have the octobans back over the
Mm.
hi-hat and this floor tom.
Okay.
Um, but between other than that, yeah, it's been pretty consistently just 3 across the front, a snare, floor tom left and right, and then a regular hi-hat. And a lot of times I just do the double bass pedal. It's nice to hear
Yeah.
another drum there. Just,
Yeah.
it's nice to have that sound, but sometimes um,
It's
it's just not good to have it space wise. So the double pedal works
space
out
wide.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
but it does depend on the music too, you know?
totally.
Um that's a key thing about being able to have the freedom to come up with, you know, different
Some.
parts, different sounds, high to low is the kind of music you're playing too. And that's something to be conscious of when people are starting their careers or when they're playing, is, don't go into a singer-songwriter situation thinking that you want to bring this big 15-piece drum set. You get,
Yeah.
I think a little bit about it, but yeah, I've been
Yeah. Back
fortunate.
back in that.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah. Go
fortunate
ahead.
that in Primus, we can, all three of us kind of do what we want, and that's the sound that people hear. We're not kind of holding back or adjusting things to fit any
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of formula. What we do, we are doing it, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So
And it's perfect because it's reflect what it should be. I mean, like it sounds honest. It doesn't sound like too overproduced for something
right.
for the 3 minute 33 second on the radio. You did what you wanted to do at that time. Like look at the band, the Queen. Like back in the days, they wrote crazy
Oh,
music. Like, and Queen is like, and they didn't think about like, okay, that's gonna be only for radio, but finally almost all the songs are a hit. So it's
yeah,
impressive when you think about that. Like, it's crazy. Talking
yeah.
about that, you are not just a drummer, you're a singer and a guitar player, right? Am I correct? I think you play.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can play. My singing's not that great, but I can I can do it a little bit.
But when you compose your song, like with Born Naked or other band you had, how you approach that with the keyboard in this case, or you will compose mostly with the guitar? with the guitar
No,
if you want to suggest your song?
so that band, I helped them. They're a band here in the Bay Area. I helped them make their second record, and then
Okay.
I played rhythm guitar, just because I liked it and it was fun and gave me something different to do.
Right,
Um,
okay.
but the music that I did myself
Mhm.
is called Fata Morgana.
Okay.
Um, and I think it's out there digitally. I think it might be on, I released it through the digital, those digital labels. And,
Okay.
but yeah, it's called Fata Morgana. And I played guitar, I was singing, I played drums, I recorded it, mixed it, engineered it. And I had some help with a lot of great people too. Um, some friends of mine in Arizona, they're in a band called Fred Green, and they're amazing. And
Okay.
they're a trio. Well, now they're a four, but they were mainly a trio. The drummer sings, so he's the main
Okay.
singer, and he's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
drums, and they're super great. So they helped on that record, and another friend of mine, Luis Maldonado, who's a amazing guitar player, he played on it. And then there's another album we did together called Into the Presence with me and Luis made together. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's mainly kind of like his album with his songs, but I helped produce it and record it and played drums on it, and yeah. So those are a few different things I did, but yes, I can mess around on the guitar a little bit,
That's right.
play rock tunes.
Are you the kind of person working on Ableton Live or Pro Tool Logic to create your things or like, yeah?
I do love Ableton. Yes.
Okay.
It's it opened up a whole bunch of stuff for me. I ended up doing some live shows where I'm doing live looping of
Oh
drums
yeah.
and gongs and stuff, and kind of like a little dubstep feel to it, with a
Yep.
lot of the bass
Yeah, yeah.
sounds and stuff. But I was doing all the percussion live, and I was creating loops and patterns and layering them. So I tried to think of it more like being a DJ, but
Mhm.
without having the beats on a turntable. I was creating them.
Live. It
So
was a
so it was pretty. So Ableton opened up that for me. I haven't done that in many years though, but maybe down the road I'll get that out. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think
had
it's a
every I had crystal bowls, I had gongs, I had a drum set, I had standing percussion, where so I could just make all kinds of sounds
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
record them into Ableton on the spot and loop them, and then I could mix them like a DJ, bring them in and
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
it
yeah.
going. So super
It's
cool. Really
interesting.
fun
Interesting.
program.
I never use Ableton in that approach. I use it more as a show triggering scene and
Right.
like next, or there's something going on stage. You touch, it's looping the same section back. And for example, now I'm working with QLab. I never worked with that program before, and it's more for theatrical approach with lights and effects and all, but we put the sounds all in one. The only downside of that, you can go back to a section but it's less precise than Logic. So you go, like, you have really to check where you loop. If there's a problem on stage, you can loop one part, but it's not so fluent. It's not like okay, it's gonna go with the flow. No, it's a little bit rough. But for point A, point B is perfect. It's a new approach, a completely new thing for me. But
Nice.
Ableton, I
Yeah.
think everybody should have a basic. Now people can download the light version for free, and they have 6 input, I think, and they can play with that just for fun. And it's a good
Yeah.
program just for
Yeah. I love
trying
that
stuff.
program.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
love their push, the
Yeah, the push.
push
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's so cool for me, because I trying to play everything on a piano or a
It's
keyboard
hard.
is just a little annoying. So that's really cool because I don't have to know, how to be a
Yeah.
pianist to make some stuff happen. So
Yeah, I do the same, but I have the Novation, the small one. It's look
yeah.
like a push. I had the push before, but I because I'm traveling all the time, I couldn't carry all that. So I it's a keyboard, but they have
Oh
like
yeah.
a lot of pads, so I can do kind of the push. It's not that great like at the push, but you can go
Mhm.
close, and
Yeah.
it's nice. And I agree. There's Yamaha just came out with something like the finger drumming. I don't know if you saw. I think it would be at NAM show. It's you can play and with your finger a full rhythm. Go check it out. They have like the small version and the big version, and it's pretty interesting for studio people for make a
Wow.
like a demo or like a shit track of something or just like have something
Hmm.
fast. Yeah, and
Right.
pretty good. Yeah.
Interesting.
um Interesting. Because the time fly. I wanted to
Oh
say
yeah.
I went to like a few years ago. I was in Arizona, and I've seen your kit in the museum, the
Oh yeah.
museum
You went there. Nice.
museum. Yeah, I it was 2017 or 18, 17, I don't remember. And I went in with my parents, my mom and my dad, and walking around, and I'm seeing the kids like, "Oh, it's a pork pie." So I would no, it's Tim Alexander kid. So I was like, that's a super cool idea. But finally, I researched after that, and I didn't know you did a little kind of like a clinic presentation about it and all. But how they approach you about that? Like, is it a great
Yeah.
music?
Um, that was through Maynard, my friend Maynard, the singer in Tool.
Yep, yep.
So he had a buddy or knew somebody who worked at the museum. And they he just like suggested me. They wanted a drum set, and so for their rock kind of drum set display. So
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, okay. I have my pork pie set that's just sitting, because I've been endorsing Tama now for
Yep.
since the mid '90s, so it's
Oh, I
been
love that.
30 years. Um, and so yeah, they just approached me, and so now it's just every couple years I just kind of sign a little thing that says they can have my drum set there.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But they have it's
I
a great museum.
Yeah, that thing you're talking about, yeah, they it was kinda like the induction of it, and so I was there, and I played the
Okay.
drums a little bit, and so,
Just like
yeah, it was
a
fun.
chat. But when you go around and you look at all these,
Oh, man.
like, instruments, it's a
Yeah,
it's
that
a
place is amazing.
I did one day, but I honestly, I think you need more than a day. I did like maybe 3, 4 hours walking around, but it's something you need to take a 2 days, 3 days, go pretty deep
Right.
and listen because they have those places you stop. There's a zone you can hear what's going on, So,
Oh, yeah.
but it's a great honor. That your kit is there. So, but I don't remember. Nobody can play on it, right? I think it's just demonstration. I don't remember. I think there's a
Yeah, it's
something.
not the play, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think
Yeah,
so too.
I don't think
Anyway,
so.
but it's a great honor. I was just surprised to have
Yeah.
that kid there,
I
and I'm
know, it's
sure
pretty
Bill is happy too. Sorry.
yeah. I say it's pretty crazy though, huh?
No, yeah, yeah, it's pretty. And I was saying, I'm sure Bill at Pork Pie is happy to see this kid there too. It's like it's a good promotion for the
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and it's nice.
Yeah, that's true.
The time fly, but I have still a couple of
Yeah,
questions. So
okay.
fast. Sorry, I'm still sick today. Um, One thing when I listened Laundry album, the Black Tongue, um, Windshield first song. It's really in your face. It's a super cool song, like a lot of good arrangement, rhythmly, like it's amazing. What I like when you did that album, you came out a bit of your own, like a not your comfort zone, but you kind of because the vocal is more, it's clear. It's not um, like what you had with Primus and all that. You really you work down on something different for don't be a copycat, but still full rhythm in your sound. Um, how did that arrive? Did you work with the band yourself, or you compose, or you had your idea and you say, okay, I want to do this, and that, like roughly?
No, actually, that started with uh, a friend of mine, the guitar player.
Okay.
and he was playing with the stick player Ian, the Chapman stick. So
Yep.
that's the bass in Laundry is a Chapman stick,
Yep.
and um, so they had worked on the music with another drummer, while I was off doing Primus stuff, and then when I got back, I don't know what happened, but I wanted to play, with those guys. Um, and so we ended up making the Black Tongue was first an instrumental album.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. And so there's a version recorded that's all instrumental. And then through somebody, we had Toby come in and sing and do all the vocals over top of the existing music. So um but yeah, that I kind of just stepped in, and we recorded that at my house. And I think that one was done on ADATs, when those ADATs
Okay. Oh,
first
yeah.
came out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like it, it's not very warm sounding. But later on we did another Laundry record, and I'm singing and playing drums on that one.
Yep. Yep.
It's called Motivator. And and that was done, like, all the drums are analog. Yeah, it just, that album sound really cool. So that's kind of a
Okay.
brief history of
Yep.
Black Tongue. Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you right now? Like I mean, musically in your head, like how you approach more. Like, of course, we grew up as a person. Like, where what define you more as a musician right now compared to 20 years back? Because we talk about a bit the past, but right now, new project, new way to compose, or you're more in teaching, or what is your where are you right now?
So,
Like in the music,
um, well, couple things. I'm doing the teaching stuff online,
Stick Academy. Yeah.
um, and with the Stick Academy and the master class, and I'm offering a couple courses, a foundation course called Ignition, and then I have that 4-week course called Accelerator. And
Okay.
so I've got those going in the drumming world. But on the outside of that, I'm a painter. I do
Okay.
abstract
That's
painting.
so
So
nice.
I have a website, timalexanderabstract.com, and you can kind of see. But I tell you, when you look at the paintings in a
In
picture
person.
or online, they don't look good to me at all. You have
Yeah.
to see them in person, man. They're
Yeah.
so cool. So pretty soon I'll be moving to a San Francisco gallery, and my stuff will be there. It's called found this on the web. Geffen Gallery is what it is. So um, in San Francisco. So I'm going to be moving there. Right now I have my art in Tiburon, and we're having a big closing party this Saturday.
Okay.
My stuff's been there all month of December.
Okay.
So we're going to close it. We're going to close it out this Saturday, and then it'll be moving. So there's a gallery here in Tiburon called Artonomy, and that's where my stuff is right now.
Well, that's great.
So
That's a good hobby.
that's what
Hobby.
I'm. Yeah.
No, but the point is like it's very cool how the musician normally we're multi-talented and we always like to do a million of things around and it's good because you're not the first. Like I mean, telling me I'm a writer or I'm doing like I'm a photographer, and I think it's compliment. It's a good compliment. It's balance our life as a musician to just not just do music. Anyway, it feeds you as a musician and that always
Yeah,
feeds you when you do the other thing, you know. It's
right.
amazing. And
Yeah.
actually, saying that, I saw you the other day. You were you played with the Seahawks.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
saw a video. Yeah, I saw a video passing through with the web, and I saw you playing with the drum line. So it was quite cool, huh? How it was a big
Yeah, that
stadium,
was
though, huh?
super fun. That was super fun for sure. Really cold.
Oh yeah,
But it was a blast. Yeah. And
it
I'm
was just
on last night.
was just an invitation, like a last minute you receive, or it was something planned, or
Oh, they planned it.
okay,
And then they kind of composed the drum parts for Jerry and My Name is Mud.
okay.
So they did like percussion versions. So I just kept it simple and just, played along and had fun. It's really cool to have that many drums just playing.
It's powerful.
It is really powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
If you go, yeah, well, if you go in Brazil, for example, and you go hearing those drum, like 300 person doing a batucada, for example, is the same thing. It's so powerful. Like a number of drums at the moment, you have like more than a couple of people. It's already powerful. So imagine
right.
how many people were playing with you, like 20, something like that.
Probably about 10 or 12.
But it's still a lot. Yeah, it's
It's
still a lot
still cool. Yeah, yeah. It's really cool.
with all the snare drum and everything. Well,
Yeah.
so
And then
if
last night, oh, sorry. And then,
no, 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 go ahead. It's Tilly.
yeah,
Go ahead.
last night I went over to the studio that I'm at. Um, and my drums are set up there. And so I went live on Instagram last night just for fun to see if anyone had any questions. I was just playing and just messing around and talking about stuff. So I'm going to be doing that. Um, I'll try to go every night. I'm going to try to get over there tonight. So
Oh, that's
if you
great.
if you look me up on Instagram, yeah, maybe you'll see me on there playing tonight.
Playing ball. Actually, that was my last question. Where the people can reach you and where they can. So we know Steak Academy, and they can find you there. But what's the best social media for you? Like Facebook,
I
Instagram?
well, yeah, there is a Facebook. I think Instagram right now seems to be the easiest and quickest way that I use. My wife helps me a lot with the social, making it work and look decent. but
It's-
um, but yeah, it's I go live on Instagram. It's easy. I keep talking about trying to get my YouTube stuff together. I haven't done that yet, but
it takes time.
yeah, and I want
It's
to do a podcast too. I'm just trying to figure out what my format would be. So
yeah, it takes. Believe me, we did 4 years now,
wow,
350 interviews done in 4 languages. It's
right.
uh it's a work, but if you want when you want something, you can make it. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right, man.
I'm still fighting for a flu, so
Oh yeah.
show must go on. So
Yeah,
well,
totally.
it's done for today. Time
Okay.
fly. Thank you for being with us. It
Yeah.
was a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you. Really appreciate
Amazing
it.
drummer. Keep playing your life every time we can hear you, and let's keep in touch. And I
Yeah,
suggest
for sure.
everybody listening tonight, if they have questions, they can write to you directly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Send me a little chat. All
Thank you so much, Tim,
right,
and
Eric.
let's
Thank
keep
you.
in touch.
Really appreciate your time. Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye bye.
All right.
Thanks for the time for being with us today. If you have any question, like he says, you can reach him on Instagram, Facebook, or on his website. If you have any questions for us, you can reach us at www.drumfillscafe.com. On that, I'll let you go. I'm going to go cough on my side, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.